Hello, Bucks fans. Welcome back to Real Bucks Talk. In today's video, we're going to talk about the Buccaneers free agency so far, kind of give you guys a recap, and how does that position them going into the 2025 NFL draft. So, yeah, there's the bells. My favorite ringtone right there. but but Mark, how are you feeling about the Buccaneers moves that they've made? Obviously, we've talked about the additions of Hassan Reddick. We talked about Chris Godwin and Ben Bredesen coming back, but how are you feeling about what they've accomplished so far?
They're doing all the right moves. They're not doing the emotional, drastic moves, I think. And that's one thing where a lot of fans want the big signings. Oh, we need so much help. I don't necessarily think we need that much help. We just need the right amount of help. Like, it's not like this team was four and whatever or only won two games. Like, the meat and potatoes are there. They just need to add some spice to it. And a Hassan Reddick, a guy that is a guy that put up over 10 sacks 3 years in a row, 4 years in a row, somewhere around that, and that is a spicy addition to your defense, okay? So, you already improved in your edge rush just based off of that. He had contract issues last year, which he held out a lot. It was a bad situation, and he talked about going to a place where you have consistency, you got a good culture. Give credit to Jason Light and Todd Bowles, guys, because he mentioned Todd Bowles a lot. I know a lot of us hate Todd Bowles and the Buccaneer fan base, but the guy brings consistency. It may be mediocrity at some point, some people think, but he's bringing consistent culture and players like him. I want to play for him, clearly. But I think the upgrades of Hassan Reddick on your edge, Anthony Walker Jr., believe it or not, is an upgrade over KJ Britt
Mhm.
and potentially over JJ Russell. So but the thing is, I don't necessarily think that is a key in plug and play starter. So it still is projecting you to your future of the draft, which is not that far away. And what are we lining up to get? Could it be an inside linebacker, like we've been saying on the channel, or possibly a cornerback? You know you want it to be on defense, but I mean it's just positioning for where you're going to be in the draft, I think.
Right, for sure. And you talk about Anthony Walker Jr., who I agree. I think he's an upgrade over what you were putting out there last year. I think with Servassier Dennis coming back healthy for literally the first time in his career, he fixed the shoulder issue that was bugging him, so he should be back. But Anthony Walker, he just gives you, good depth, good upside in case something does happen to your starters, and you feel much better with your depth. And that's what you're trying to build in free agency. It's about adding depth. You look at Kendall Vildor, bringing him over from the Detroit Lions. He, again, a very good special teams player, a guy that can be a number four corner on your team, and has starting experience, or at least has played in games, has more experience than Josh Hayes, Tyreek Funderburk, who we saw a lot of. So you're upgrading your room right there at the bottom of your roster. And with Jamel Dean most likely coming back now, because with his contract and his ability to be at a good value, I think you feel pretty confident with this starting lineup in the secondary minus Jordan Whitehead. I don't know why they haven't removed him yet, but he's not on the team anymore. But that's really a strong foundation to build from with Dean, McCollum, Winfield, and Tyke Smith. For sure they're going to add more corners. They're going to add a safety probably as well. So you feel good about those moves so far. And I'll bring it over to here. This is the Buccaneers unrestricted free agents that they have brought back and other players that have signed elsewhere. So you look at, Chris Godwin, Levante David, Ben Bredesen, Nelson, Greg Gaines, Kyle Trask, they all return. Robert Hainsey, JTS, KJ Britt, Tavier Thomas. Doesn't have on here yet. I think this is an older tweet, but Justin School also
Yeah.
went to Minnesota. And the Buccaneers, let's see if they have that up there. They do not have it up here yet. Oh, yeah, they do. Right here. They brought in Charlie Heck
Heck of a guy.
from the 49ers. And that's again a good solid move. You get a good swing tackle with experience.
Tall glass of water at 6'8".
Yep.
But I mean, looking at the offense, Chris Godwin coming back, taking less money, culture, right? Wanting to be in a place where you know the people around you, you're comfortable, so you can play faster. I mean, a lot of this again, like we're so wanting the big name or big player, but not necessarily thinking about what Jason Light keeps saying is we're trying to bring Buccaneer men. And a lot of these are the player that plays in the scheme and is going to bring a culture and consistent message that we're here to win. We're not here to get collect paychecks, right? We're here to win games and play for a team. Like a majority of the players that have on the Buccaneers are team type of guys, guys that want to play for each other, not play for the name on the back of my jersey and dollar signs. So be grateful for that and stop looking for the big signing because usually the big signings drastically hurt your team because you can't afford much else. And then looking at defensively, you're only as good as your weakest link. Last year we had KJ Britt was a massive weak link, and then Jamel Dean went down. Tyler Funderburk was out there, and another massive weak link. And like you mentioned, Josh Hayes is out there. Weak links. You raised your floor with Kendall Vilder and Anthony Walker Jr. because you can't necessarily count on Jamel Dean being healthy. You can't necessarily count on Servassier Dennis being healthy. It's 2 years in a row. So you're just raising the floor up from what it was with potential to improve on that in the draft. So it's a lot of little pieces to get better. Like, so if a guy does go down, you have a better guy that can come in, right? Not to mention what you're going to build in the draft.
Yeah, for sure. So I think what that sets us up as we move forward to the draft, and I think that's where the focus is going to be for the team moving forward. It really puts you in a great position to add best available player at a position of need, whether that be linebacker that we talked about. Maybe it's Jahad Campbell if he's available at 19, or you look at maybe a Jalen Walker. You look at the cornerback players, maybe Malachi Starks, who can kind of be that Brian Branch type of role that they would like to bring in, or a Jade Barron. You look at Savone Revel, all these guys could be potential options for them. And you also look at maybe they stay with edge. You could still add a Donovan Ezeraku. And there's also more potential for maybe trading back and adding more assets to, fill these positions and really attack linebacker, corner, and defensive line still in the process.
Absolutely. I mean, sticking with that weakest link thing. I mean, the only guy you truly don't know who is a starter. I mean, I know he touched or Tubbles touched on Tyke Smith probably going to be playing safety this year, but it's going to be a competition because are you comfortable with Tyke Smith moving over to safety and then Christian Izian being your primary nickelback? I don't know, right? I mean, I think it's going to be interchangeable things. I know Todd Bowles is high on Christian Izian, but like you mentioned, cornerback could be up there in that draft or safety because safety is truly the only one that there's not a player you can put your name on because Jordan Whitehead's gone. Merriweather did some good things in the end of the season, but there's not like a name where you can say production was backed up by it, right? Anthony
Mhm.
Walker Jr. was a starter at one point in his career, so he's put up numbers. He's a more athletic player than KJ Britt. Servassier Dennis, when he's out there and healthy, he's pretty damn good for the crowd that loves Servassier and saying, "Oh, what about Servassier? You're overlooking him." No, we're not. He's good, but we just can't count on him yet. It's not like the Gerald McCoy where everyone's like, get rid of him because of two bicep injuries. But look at his career. So it could potentially turn into that. We just don't know. And we just need speed and A gap blitzes from that. Dennis was a third down guy last year. That was his role. And I want to see him stick to that, but I want to build upon it. So, I mean, a lot of ways they can go in the draft, but you're just hopefully thinking that first pick is going to be a defensive type of player.
Right, for sure. I think early on, like at least the first 4 rounds is probably going to be on the defensive side of the football, just because of how the draft sets up, how it schedules to more value as we get into day two. So I think there's good possibility that the Buccaneers do add a strong player that could fall to them. Let's say, hey, if a Will Johnson falls to you at 19, that's probably an automatic pick because he's a guy that's ready to play cornerback right away and can fill a need and add competition to the room of your secondary. Same thing with like a Nick Amawori, the guy from South Carolina, super athletic, you know, big, and could be that enforcer type that they're looking for at strong safety. So there's a lot of different avenues that they can go. And I think that's the beauty of free agency. That's what they're looking for going into the draft. So a lot of good stuff happening for the Buccaneers. I think a lot of fans need to appreciate how this team is building the right way, and I think that's important to take notice of.
Yeah, and the fact that the whole entire offense is back and they're all positive. They're all already saying they're going to build upon last year. It's not just going to be stagnant, right? Van Bredesen, consistency, blown away by how consistent this organization is compared to other places. And you hear it in every one of these interviews of how much they like this place, this Tampa. It's not just this small market that's trash, guys. This is a team that's building to be a consistent winner. And clearly everyone on offense wants to be there. The defense just needs to sprinkle in some pieces and let's see where we can go. So overall, I think I'm happy with their free agency signings. Those that say we got to win free agency to win in the season, that doesn't necessarily happen. How many times have a team won free agency? I don't know even know what the heck winning free agency is. I guess whoever spends the most money. But
Yeah.
that wasn't going to be the Bucks. They didn't have the most money. They're looking more to maintain and improve a little bit. There's no drastic changes that literally need to be made. There's no face-off moment here.
Yeah, no, completely agree. So, with that said, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like button, comment down below your thoughts of what we discussed. How do you guys feel heading into the draft? Let us know. And with that said, until the next one.